So this Ronnie Lawson, we had some interesting statements out of Ronnie Lawson's mouth. Well, we'd have to think this is a situation that's going to be built on circumstantial evidence. It's just another thing for the triers to take into consideration at a later date. So this, well, needless to say, Don and Candace have YouTube accounts, and they've, Candace used to upload all kinds of drunk themed content. She should have been an IRL streamer. Yeah, Bonnie. Oh yeah, there's all kinds of eerie similarities to Jack and Lily. They're not eerie in that it's eerie that they're similar. There's reasons why they're similar because of the situation that the parents are in over the kids and what it is that they say for themselves. And eerily, there's always similarities, and there's similarities to different situations. It's important to say that because, or why they should be important in your mind specifically is so that you can figure out how exactly they're investigating it at any one time. Not like there's some sort of magic woo-woo eeriness going on. That I'm not even going to say that. RL quiz. Who's RL? Who's RL? You've got me. Fuck. I know I should know that probably. Let's go over and take that tour. So listen, we are here updating, but it's not necessary that we read all of the news to update you. Just gonna frustrate you a little bit. I'm trying to give you the simplified version. But what I was talking about Ronnie Lawson, he said some significant things in the grand scheme of things, really, that parents were not being cooperative. We all know why, but at the end of the day, they still need to piece this investigation together. What was disappointing to hear is how it's complicated because Ronnie Lawson's office, those sheriffs there, it doesn't seem like, they were as excited to tackle this case. They're talking about this is the type of situation that usually goes to grand juries. And that was hopeful a long time ago. Well, if you're at that point to say that, you would think that it would progress to a grand jury pretty soon. You're dropping something. So I'm skeptical about this particular case file. I know they'll have a reason for it. Hold on. Let's go have that tour right now. By the way, Mary Hartman is up on this panel. This is from a couple years ago. Mary Hartman's up on this panel. She's about to share in this statement her experience with that fucking perv Don Wells. You can hear it right from her mouth. Mary has a cooking channel here on YouTube, Mary Hartman's. If you search in YouTube, what is it? I'm subscribed to it and I forget what it's called. She's changed the name of it a couple times, but it's actually really good and she's really talented and she has some fantastic recipes. So, I mean, what more could you ask for? And great ideas, by the way, on her channel. It was interesting that she started up a cooking channel. She's the opposite of a lol cow in that sense. They're actually really interesting. Good for some ideas. I'm a sucker for some cooking channels. Let me see here.
Oh, that's just one of them can't. What do they call these? Oh, this is a little pony brace. Boy, you know,
as Chris is pulling up here, there are at least close to a dozen dogs. You can hear them here. And the day that Summer went missing, Dawn has stated that the dogs were nowhere to be found.
Is that a way of explaining why they didn't bark?
Yes. At a stranger, because they claim stranger abduction.
Chris, remember the Sherlock Holmes story about Silver Blaze, where Sherlock Holmes deduces that it was an inside job because the dog didn't bark?
Yeah. You know, I've said that for quite some time, that the the silent witnesses on a lot of these cases. I think remember we talked about when you nailed Koberger before they arrested him. We also talked about the dog in the house. Yeah. He's going to be that, silent witness with hair, etc. But yeah, no, I love it.
Gotta love dogs.
Here we go. Yeah, those dogs were going nuts.
Rightfully so. Now, this sits on the top of a very, I would consider it a very steep hill, by the way. It's, very secluded. The neighbors are quite a ways away. You would need a reason to drive up there.
You know, I have much more respect for what you're telling me by standing here. Yeah. And I got my little camera here, but I'm looking at this terrain, and I'm going, holy cow! She could have even. There's a million possibilities here. Yeah, there's down there, and there's the road down there.
Yeah, that's the road. And that's my mom's house.
Okay.
Like literally, it's.
And this right here.
Usually you can see the road because they have went through here and mowed and took down a bunch of stuff away from the power lines.
Okay.
But usually it's full up. You can't even see the road.
That day, though, how was it? Was it full up, or was it like this?
That day and a few days prior to that, they were working on this.
Okay.
So I've even come to a conclusion maybe one of them people have snatched it.
Oh, interesting.
Because they were all the way up here.
Yeah, I see those, the path down there. I see the tracks down there.
Yep.
Over there.
And they were all the way up here to my light pole.
Okay. And you told TBI all this, right?
I told TBI this, yes.
Okay. And yeah, I can see the cars going by. That is not far from your.
Yeah, sorry, I got mixed up there. A screen popped up I couldn't get rid of. I was frozen. I'm still here. Your screen probably went wonky on me. Good to see you, Brenda Chic. Welcome in, friends.
Your property. Mm-mm. Is there a holler down there? I mean, is there a river of some sort?
The creek runs all the way around the property.
And how deep is a creek? Okay, just so it's like an inch, inch or two. Okay.
You'd be lucky to get wet enough to do anything.
Okay. All right, so let's pick it up from where, and I'm going to just use this little one. Is that okay? Okay, so from where, when you got home, now she's leaning.
My mom's truck parks here.
Okay, your mom's truck's right here. Yes. Okay, so when she's leaning against the milk. Is she sleeping?
She was sleeping, yes.
Okay.
So it still bothers me, this milk jug photo that she took on the way home. You've got 4 cold milk jugs that you just took out of the reefer at the grocery store, put them in the back, and there's a child sound asleep on them with a coat on after going swimming. Like, it's just not right. It's what makes things off. Like, first of all, isn't that a little cold? Like, it's uncomfortable to your senses.
Okay.
And now so let me stop sharing here for a second. Is there anything else you want to see? Do you want me to keep moving or anything else, Gary?
I'm dying to hear from Mary.
Yeah, me too. So let me stop that. Okay. And Mary's at the top, or my mother would never forgive me. And so, Miss Mary, meet Dr. Bricado.
Yes, nice to see you.
A pleasure.
So kind of fill him in the Reader's Digest version of what's been happening in the last couple of days, how you guys kick this off in terms of the second train here, going down the track with what happened to you and your sister. But, just kind of narrow it down if you wouldn't, if that is that okay with you?
Yeah. Do you want to hear about what Donnie's been doing the last couple of days?
So this is where Dawn's sister, Mary, is going to talk about her past experiences with Dawn. They continued to harass Mary for coming out long after. So here we have a lot of the same behavior by way of the suspects after the fact, carrying out different pranks, but forms of harassment essentially against those who came out to speak up against them publicly.
Or
Sure, let's hear that.
well, I mean, a couple of weeks ago, and I don't try to call him or anything. I just sit there and all of a sudden my phone starts going off and it's Donnie, And so a couple of weeks ago, and so I don't answer it, and I called Josh because Josh usually will call him and say, well, what's up? Why are you calling Mary? Because he knows that I don't want to talk to him. So, and then when I answer the phone, he just all of a sudden goes off on me, starts calling me names, telling me I'm a lion, bitch, all that. And it's just like, what is your problem, Donnie? Why do you keep calling me? Because you're a lion, and
Also, Mary, and I would just want to say this: a lot of those threats or insults towards her are sexual in nature as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah.
Like nobody wants you, but with more detail, things like that. And it really, it goes as low as possible.
Yeah. He started in saying stuff like, the only person that would want me or my body is my ex-husband. And, because he was pissed off, because he's like, nobody wanted you. We weren't trying to rape.
So you're wondering about life at home. We know how Don sounds when he calls and yells at people he knows, like, Sister Mary here. The way he attacks her, think about the things that he says to Candace around the boys and around the kids. There's really no hiding in that small, the confines of 110 Ben Hill Road. You're around the kids at all the time. You can't have a moment of privacy around there without everybody knowing what you're doing. But it shows the types of patterns Don focuses on. He's out there pulling from things. What's always on your mind? Sexual things. And he's using and demeaning the other individual in a traditional misogynistic way that's telling about Don's true self in that sense. His true self. Yeah, that word's bullshit though, Anon. That's just the label. Don't ever use that word, bro. There's reasons for people's behavior, but that's part of it, no doubt.
It was him and two of his friends that were ganging up on me, and they were ripping my clothes off. They were getting drunk and getting high, and then they started chasing me around the house, and I'm the same age as Donnie pretty much. We're like a month apart. But, they just started chasing me around, and tearing my clothes off, and they caught me in the front room because I ran in the house. And there's 2 ways to get to the front room at my mom and dad's house, on the side and in the front. So they kind of all 3 like blocked me in, got me down on the front room floor, and started ripping the rest of my clothes off. And I don't know how I got up, but I did. And I ran into my mom and dad's bedroom and locked the door until my brother got home. And then when my brother got home, he took me to the police station to make a report because, in my opinion, they were going to rape me. So.
And then your stepdad pulled that back the next day.
Yep. The next day, him and my mom were arguing. And he even told me himself, you're going to go down to the police station and you're going to, tell them that it was all a mistake. And, and so I had to. It's like he told me I had to, or he was kicking me out. I was 14 years old. Where was I going to go? You know what I mean? So.
And then, Gary, also something I think it's important for you.
So there's an example. Think about that example and how it impressed upon Don and how to get away with his fucking behavior. Think about the little high that he got from that particular instance and knowing what he could get away with and what people were going to, because of their own lack of caring and concern. They're more worried about how they look as a family and how it represents them and what it's going to do and how much it's going to cost them. You need to self-censor and shut your mouth about your sexual assault. They're not even acknowledging the severity of what went on. You're getting drunk and high and putting yourself on your fucking sister. Doesn't matter that she's your stepsister in that sense. It doesn't matter. That's what you're fucking doing. There's going to be a fucking problem. But her mom let her down, and it has to do with the fact of whatever decisions. It was out of Mary's hand. She was pressured in that way by the people that were that she thought loved her enough to protect her and back her up in situations in which she needed them the most, like this one she's describing. Look how they betrayed her. And they betrayed her from Don's perspective to save his soul because he's such a good guy. He's in the right. Don's never in the right. He was a fucking cocksucker. What he did in his behavior exposed the problem within a family that they chose to not do anything about because they couldn't be asked. They couldn't be bothered. Man, how traumatizing that would have been alone, other than the assault that she went through with Don. That makes me feel really sad. I'm sorry, Mary, that you went through that.
To understand before you weigh in, is her sister, Jeanie, when she was starting, 5, Mary?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Till about 12 years old,
Mm-hmm.
almost weekly and or nightly, it varied,
Mm-hmm.
but it was consistent for 7 years.
Yeah.
He essayed her consistently.
Mm-hmm.
And as well as other individuals, cousins, family members, etc.
So Jeanie, Mary's sister, and another one of Don's victims, although she probably doesn't want to be known as that, was the same age as Summer. So we talk about these patterns that we picked up and sensed just by getting to know Don the way we have over the past 5 years. Things in the pieces of the puzzle start to make a lot more sense as to what happened and the reasons why they had to come up with this cockamamie alibi that is constantly being contradicted anytime they fucking talk. And they even acknowledge that they have